Hello, all you hardcore boxing fans out there. How you doing? It's Russ here from Porky's Corner, the biggest gob in sport. Today we're going to be joined by Terry Chappendama from London. Did you know Terry's a banker? For all of you who didn't know, I always like to get that in. He'll be clicking on any second. I hope everybody's had a good evening watching the boxing. So, all right. So Tyson Fury against Ngannou. What did we all think? Well, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in it moving forward. That's about it. Let's just check I've sent it to right email. Oh, Chappendama. Yeah, that should be it. What he is. Chappendama. Oh man. Yeah. Well, Terry must be late signing on. It's not like him there. Here we are. Here we go. Here's Terry. All right, Terry. Hey there, lad. Pop, pop, bang. Terry, what are you doing to me? Leaving me hanging?
There we go. Sorry, I was on mute.
No problem, mate. How are you doing?
Pop, pop, bang.
Yeah, pop left me hanging 2 minutes.
Nah, mate, you know what? I went into Zoom, then it told me I had to update. So 100% my fault, Russ.
All right, no sweat. Well, we don't need to beat about the bush. Thanks for liking and subscribing, leaving a comment. Fury and Ngannou, Terry, what do you think?
Pop, pop, bang.
Oh my God. I watched it through my fingers with Frank at Berry last night. Like, oh.
Mate, shout out to Frank Smith and Bury.
Hey, listen, them lads in Berry, they were fantastic last night. Checked me fantastic, mate. All of them. Brilliant. Enjoyed it. Had a great night. No, never got into any trouble. It's amazing, isn't it? You know, you go there thinking I might have to just give somebody a crack and they don't want to know, Terry.
Porky Russ and another fate.
I love it, don't I, kid?
On the hard road.
I'd be unbearable if I could put about a freeze clam on, wouldn't I?
Oh, mate. You know what? I was watching that fight last night and I was like, I need to wake up in the morning. I need to set aside an hour for Porky's Corner. I was like, I need to hear what he's got to say about this.
Mate, I was burning rubber down A1 from Berry this morning, mate. I couldn't wait to get home and get on and turn into a bed blogger. Isn't that right, Spencer Brown? Bed blogger. What about you, Dylan White? Am I a bed blogger? Where's the B sample?
For which failed test, though? That's the question, right?
I know, yeah, he's failed that many, hasn't he? I mean, how many people have got B samples missing at the moment, Terry? What is going on?
Hey, aren't they saying that the bees are close to extinction, so maybe the B samples are too?
I don't know, mate. But all I do know is I watched that fight last night, right? And I swear to God, I don't know what anybody was watching. And you text me after second round and you said, get ready here, didn't you?
Yeah.
Well, did you see fear in Fury's face after round 2?
Yep. Do you know what? It's weird, Russ, because normally, like I've been putting a lot of hours in with work recently. So I'm used to like the Julian McGowan take because I think Julian's brilliant, by the way.
Coming on today, Julian be on later.
Listen, like if ever there was a boxing philosopher, it's Julian. Like if ever there's a man that gets the meta of boxing, it's Julian. So I'll be tuned into that when that comes out. But Russ, I'm gonna ask you a question. Is this Tyson Fury career the greatest pump and dump in boxing history?
Yeah, it is. He fought Wilder and they brought him back, didn't they, 5 years ago? And basically, they got him over the line with Wilder, didn't they? But since then, they've been papering over cracks, and they all the way through it, really. And it's been all hot bluster on it, and we're going to do this and going to do that, and the Gypsy King, and it's all been hype. But when all said and done, they're not fighting anybody, are they, really? Who are they fighting?
Do you know what? Do you remember after the Wilder fight, you and I spoke, and I said to you, those two will never be the same again.
Yeah. You said that after Clinton Woods, Glenn Johnson, you said they're not lumps at each other. They were never the same, were they?
No. After December 1st or something, 2018.
Yeah.
When Fury got up in that 12th round, he had to dig into something that's not boxing. He had to dig into something that is almost like your ancestors had to pull you off that canvas. And I just don't believe he was the same after that. And then they fought the second fight, and I think Wilder paid for having a hangover from the first fight, and that made Fury look better than he was. Third fight was just whoever could, last man standing, essentially. And that's basically Fury's whole career, right? Everything else has been against B-level fighters, your Otto Wilders, your Tom Schwartzes, your Seferis, Dillian White, Derek Chisora. He's had all these sort of B-level opponents, but his fans will tell you these guys are the greatest thing since sliced bread. So we've been waiting for this scheme to unravel. Now, let me just start, because I know I'm going to get cooked in the comments, because I know I'm going to say this now. If Wilder and Fury fight 100 times, Fury wins 99 of those.
Yeah.
Right? He does. There's no question about that. What Ngannou was able to do, and all good boxing coaches know this, when you're against someone who's better, you give them something they kind of trained for. Now, that may be you decide to pick a shot or combination that you're like, I don't think he's trained for this. We can catch him with that. Or sometimes it's, we're going to set such a pace, he kind of trained for this pace. Ngannou just said, Fury's used to people coming towards him and eating those shots. I'm just not going to engage because I'm the MMA guy. Fury's going to make the fight and I can just counter. If that was Dewey Cooper and Mike Tyson's idea, then that's absolute genius. Because what do you call it? We almost call it the novice's gift, Russ. You know when someone comes in the gym for the first time, right? And they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
You ain't got a clue what they're doing either, because you're so used to people boxing in a structured way. When someone brings you something that's not structured, you're like, what the hell's going on here? And it takes you a while to figure it out. But you come back next week, the sparring's a lot easier, the fight's a lot easier. And I think Fury got caught out by that. But the whole point is he shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. He shouldn't have been. Because I don't believe Ngannou beats Joe Joyce. I don't believe Ngannou beats Zhang. And I don't believe Ngannou beats that level of heavyweight. I don't believe he beats those sorts of guys. I think Takam gives him hell as well. I think Bakoli gives him hell. He's not that good. But Russ, go back through Fury's history. What's his kryptonite? It's anyone that's willing to have a go.
Otto Wallin had a good, didn't he?
Yeah, anyone that's not afraid to get knocked out, Fury hasn't got an answer to that. He can't control that. That's why he tries to get in your head. As soon as you don't care, you're like, well, we're going to fight. If I get knocked out, I get knocked out, but I'm coming for you. He struggles with that.
It was pretty basic in Nganou's plan, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, just that left hook over the right hand every time, knowing that Fury likes to lean off to his left, so he's always going to be off balance, and that's how he got the knockdown.
Do you think, Teddy, once he felt him up close, because there were a couple of times where I got impression on Ngannou really grabbed hold of him really tight and let his presence be felt. And a couple of times coming out of the clinchers, you know, they see Tyson hitting him in clinchers and all like that. But there were none of that. He didn't take any liberties with him. It was like he just wanted to stay away from him. I couldn't believe it.
How much did he weigh? Wasn't Ngannou 272?
19 stone 11 on scales. You'd probably say he'd be a touch over 20 stone 5 pound at ring, wouldn't you, Tyson?
And what was Fury?
No, Fury were 19 stone 11. Then Fury will get loads of water down. He'll have some pasta and all that one. He'd be over 20 at ring. Other guy would probably been just under 20, wouldn't he?
Yeah, so Ngannou was like 19 something, wasn't he?
1960 was.
Look at the difference in condition between them.
Listen, do you know what? I'm not being funny. I sat with Frank and I said, we've never seen Tyson that big. We've seen him a little bit heavier than that, but we haven't seen him that out of shape. No, fitted him it were. I don't know what was going on with that, but at the bottom of his back, it was like some giant blancmange, wasn't it? Jelly or something, wasn't it?
Well, you know what it is, right?
You're carrying that around with you. And every time the Francis Ngannou hit him, you could see fist getting lost in fact. Couldn't you?
But you know what? That's no. But that's a good thing though, right? Because that's how F1 cars are built. So they call it dissipating the energy. So when you see that fat wobble, that's energy that's not knocking you out, basically.
Yeah.
You get knocked. That's why you get knocked out generally. You get stunned when that energy's got nowhere to go because it goes straight into the ground and comes straight back up. And you're like, oh, God, that's horrible. But, mate, his condition was terrible. Do you remember when he fought Wilder the third time and you saw the training footage and he had all the veins in the shoulders, veins in the arm. He had everything. He looked like he took it seriously. How many video clips did you see this time of Fury training, Russ?
We didn't see any clip. I saw one running clip and it looked, and I think that might have been his dad saying that they completed a 10-miler. That's all. But he only like fucking 20 seconds. For all we know, they could have poured water on the sensor and ran round block.
That's what I'm saying. I don't believe he trained for this.
No, I don't think he did. I think everybody gassed him up and he thought free money, free gratis, and then I'll get on to Usyk. Usyk fight is 7-week tomorrow fight week. Fury's not going to be ready for that. So we said that, didn't we? We said, well, he's not going to fight December. Spencer Brown, when he came out, saying that people like me are bed bloggers and this and that, blah, 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 the fight's done, this and that. Look, they wheeled him out as Patsy, didn't they? December 23rd. His words. Now there's no fight. We knew that. You don't announce fights for heavyweight champ when he's already got another one. We don't do that unless you're in Super 6 or something. You know? So we didn't buy into it, did we?
No, I never did. I almost I'm at the point where I don't really want to see Fury versus Usyk now. They did all that carry on in the ring afterwards, and I thought that was disrespectful to Ngannou to say, "Mate, can you just get out the ring so Fury and Usyk can do this?" What should have happened last night is they should have said, "Mate, this fight was a disaster for what we're planning in December. We're gonna have to postpone this because we can't rightfully have Fury who got away with one. Whether you think he won or whether you think he lost, he got away with one last night. And then to have Usyk come in and you could see Usyk's face was like, yeah, this doesn't feel right because, mate, you just essentially let a glorified YouTuber slap you about for 10 rounds. Do nothing about it.
Usyk's about business, isn't he? He'll look at that last night and think, look, it's all caught up with him, man, age and bad living.
No. Let's go back. Remember when Joshua talked about them sparring in 2011?
Joshua won the spar, did he 2-1, did he? Or did they do 2 rounds or 1 round?
I think it was probably a couple.
Right.
And where Joshua was like, I was giving him that work, and we're like, whatever. I can believe that.
He did. He gave him the work, Joshua, but Tyson gave him it in 2nd round, apparently. Then that was it, apparently. That's what I heard. I heard he set about Joshua, and Tyson admitted it on Bunce's podcast about 10 years ago, wasn't it? 12 years ago.
Yeah. So now we start to, I think, remember all those guys, like, what's his name? Stig. They were trying to tell us this was the greatest heavyweight of all time. Yeah. You're like,
from the Fury Power WhatsApp group, Stig. Our friend Stig, he's all right, Stig, we like him. But he was the ringleader of the Fury Power WhatsApp group, wasn't he?
Yeah.
These are grown men, by the way. Pop, pop, bang.
Pop, pop, bang. I enjoyed that, right? Because it was just... So first thing, what I will say is the Saudis know how to put on an event, mate. Like, watching that ring come up through the ground was impressive. But I don't think they expected it to be the success that it was. Because if you think about this, Russ, what should have been a routine beatdown for Francis Ngannou is now turned into one of the biggest boxing events of the last year, if not the last few years, right?
Yeah, but what you've got to remember is it's the biggest boxing event that's ever been held in the last 100 years, according to Frank Warren and Bob Arum. Fair enough, it's massive, millions at stake. All these famous people have been paid, flying them over 250 grand a piece, plus expenses, all that, well done. But they refused to do a press conference, even though they got the win. So what does that tell you? They've got no respect for fans, no respect for media, no respect for Saudis, and that the bullies. You can only ask them certain questions, and if it looks like they're going to get asked not hard questions, they've got no comment. Right? You saw John Fury walking through the ring. They said, "John Fury, what did you think to fight?" "No comment, get out of my way." That's what you're up against now. Bad talks,
It's
aren't they? I get threatened daily. Listen, mate.
it's
Everybody
interesting though, isn't it?
they're
Because
right. What?
you think about this, like 48 hours before John Fury, I mean, couldn't walk past the camera without clowning in front of it. Do you know what I mean? With his top off. And then all of a sudden, it goes a bit wrong. He doesn't want to see a single camera.
No, it's no comment to make. Get out of my way, worms. Get out of the way, worms. Like Hulk Hogan. He's nicking Hulk Hogan's line. Out of the way, worms. No comment.
Let me tell you something, brother.
That's what you're up against. We can't get John Fury away from a camera. He's either getting emotional or he's ranting or whatever. Eating out at Nick not thrown a punch.
So I'll tell you what, like, I've got a friend. He's a Saudi boxer, right? He used to box in London for a bit. And he said something really interesting about this Fury thing. What he said was, the Saudis just want the belt from Fury, right? Generally, they don't like the Furies because I don't know if you've ever been to the Middle East, Russ. It's quite a low-key, really humble, like publicly, you don't make a lot of noise, you don't draw attention to yourself. You've got to conduct yourself with humility.
Well, you've got the Furies there for 2 weeks on an all-exclusive. Oh, my God. The mask will slip. The mask will slip.
Yeah, so they're there, and they're like, right, if we can get these belts onto Usyk, there's a guy we can get behind because that gives us that Ukraine leverage as well. So the real strategy is to get the belt of Tyson Fury. So the Saudis aren't upset about what happened yesterday because they're like, hey, this has turned out better than we thought it would turn out. So it's a big win for them. They'll claim that they knew this would happen all along. Brilliant. But the real aim is to get those belts for Fury. So it may happen December 23rd or there's no money. They may say, look, if you don't do it December 23rd, we've got to take 10% off the total pot. They'll get Fury. They need that belt, and they'll take that belt off him.
But what if Fury's deal's tied in with Ngannou fight? Because I never thought they'd get the Usyk fight, and then all of a sudden they've got the Usyk fight, but he's got to fight Ngannou first and a rematch with Usyk. So he's technically got a free fight deal there, hasn't he?
That's the cost of selling the belt, right?
Mm.
So when you've got the belt, and it's pretty hard to shift it because the WBC like you, you're good for drawing attention to the WBC. So what Fury can say is, look, we'll do it, but we need a 3-fight deal, and you got to give me a couple of, not a couple of easy, give me an easy one, and then I'll do Usyk twice. Because they probably said, look, why don't you fight Wilder and Saudi? Fury's like, I don't think so. So yeah, give me Ngannou instead. And that's kind of damaged his brand. And what it's done, which annoys me, Russ, is we could always say to people, what makes boxing unique is you had to be a specialist. Yeah? You couldn't just rock up and do boxing because you've only got 2 hands. Like, there's only really 2 ways to win, with a left hand or a right hand. Whereas in the UFC, you can submit someone, you can kick him to death, you can knock him out, whatever. There's so many different ways that you never really had to be a specialist. But now the UFC, which is all these MMA guys will quite rightly say there isn't a single boxer on earth that could walk into an MMA fight against a champion and win. And they're right. Yeah. It's impossible. So maybe now they're going to claim to be the top combat sport on the planet.
Well, this is why we're all like licking our wounds this morning, because Fury's gone out there and he's basically, well, they've already dragged the sport through mud anyway with Father, haven't they? What his antics, but then he's just gone out there, flabby, fat as a pig Michelin man, shown us up, and they've robbed that guy on points. We're not even an honest sport. We've robbed a guy who's having his first boxing fight, and it's embarrassing. And that's why they've had to crawl away. They couldn't go to that presser. We all, Jeff Powell and all them American media guys, Dan Rafer and all them, all sharpening the pencils, weren't they?
Mate, because he's been talking ridiculously for so long.
Yeah.
And he's got away with it. I'm telling you now, Russell, if the referee had done the right thing in December 2018 and stopped that fight in the 12th round like he should have done.
Against Wally?
No, against Wilder.
Oh, Wilder in the last knockdown.
Yeah. Fury would be 28 stone now.
Yeah.
He'd be 28 stone, living in Morecambe, chilling.
He was 25 stone 4 weeks ago, though, wasn't he? So he done well to get that off, hadn't he, that weight?
Well, to be honest, when you've got that much weight to lose in a short space of time, you're better off keeping the weight on.
He looked knackered to me, to be honest. I'm not being funny. He looked knackered. to me.
Just looked like he hadn't trained. Looked
like
he hadn't taken it seriously.
He had a look about him, Terry, right? Like I said, like second round, I thought he's either out his head or he's got fear in him. And normally you don't see that in him, do you? He's normally showboating and all that. And he looked like, I don't want to be here. He didn't want to be there, mate. And that's when you text me and said, this is going one way, this.
And you were there trying to...
He dug in, didn't he? He dug in, didn't he? He did dig in, but he couldn't turn it round, could he?
You're trying to convince me he's going to stop him in the end. I said to you, no, this is not scripted, man.
That guy weren't viewing the script. What he on Ngannou? He's like, he didn't read script, did he? Him?
So here's what I will say. Like, years ago, I used to spar Big Blaze Mendo, right? Now, Blaze, as you guys know, is Cameroonian. I've never seen Blaze wobbled, mate. And because I was coming back from a back injury, so we kind of agreed, look, let's not go too crazy in sparring. And he was like, listen, I don't care, hit me as hard as you want. And there's one shot I hit him with, and I remember, like, it felt good. You know, sometimes you throw a punch, it feels good. I was like, that was nice. In your head, you feel, oh God, that felt good. No reaction. And I was like, oh. Those Cameroonian skulls are built different. Fury should have done his research. They're built different. The guys from the Cameroon, the guys from the northern part of Congo, and that kind of eastern part of Nigeria, that kind of strip of land there may produce some of the hardest people on the planet. Like, they don't get knocked out. I mean, and Fury hadn't prepared for that. I think Fury thought he'd stop him. I was like, you're not stopping Ngannou. Look at the size of his head and look at the size of his neck.
Yeah, we're in good shape, Ngannou. I wanted Terry to be fair to him.
He took it seriously.
He conducted himself amazingly, and it looks this morning like the Eddie Earns guy, Frank Smith, have reached out to him and offered him a deal to fight Joshua, because that's Eddie's shortcut to get the Fury money, isn't it?
The Saudis won't take it.
I know, but Eddie will try and get Ngannou to say, look, we've just knocked Ngannou out. Who beat Fury, so we'll beat Fury now. That's Eddie's shortcut to Fury now, isn't it? If he does Ngannou, he can forget all these other fights, just go for somebody that's not a boxer and go for Ngannou, but they could come unstuck like Tyson did, couldn't he?
No. Joshua will run him over.
Well, we said Fury would run him over, didn't we?
No, well, the thing is, if Fury had it in him to set about him, like, properly, instead of all that boxing at range. Remember, he didn't really go to the body, Russ. Didn't chop.
And that's really box at range for age. And box at range for age, and he just gets them out there. White and Chisora, he didn't box at range with them, did he?
Just played around until he found the opening, then bam. But he wasn't even throwing the uppercut. Yeah, mate, you stopped Dillian White with a peach of an uppercut. You didn't throw a single uppercut in that fight.
He wasn't setting any traps, whatever. He was just doing enough to get through the rounds, thinking surely Ngannou's going to get knackered any minute. But Fury were getting more knackered, wasn't he?
Listen, Ngannou was nearly 20 stone of solid muscle. That's
he wobbled him twice, didn't he, Terry? After the knockdown, there were two more bad wobblings, and one of them went down on his knees when it had been cuffed at the side. And I thought they were going to give that as a knockdown. Me, you know that.
He looked a mess. I'm like, how is this man 20 stone? Like, he ain't got no legs, you got no arms, you got no shoulders. How are you 20 stone? But you know what, Russ? When I really sussed out this was a scam, and I'm gonna hold you responsible for this. When you started putting up those John Fury fight videos.
Oh, it's the billboards then.
No. When you started putting those fight videos up, and I was like, the apple can't fall far from the tree on this one, surely. And remember, with John, it all looked good until he took one, and then it was just over.
You mean when the two fights on my most viewed video with John Fury getting knocked out?
Yeah.
The ones that John tried to stop going into public domain. Yeah. Steve Garber and Henry Akinwande flopped him, didn't they? Yeah, I've seen it.
And they weren't even elite guys.
At the time, I want Akinwande 10-0 or something, 11-0, something like that. One.
Yeah, decent guy. Like not long after he won the ABAs, got in with John, but you know, it was Henry Akinwande.
Steve Garber was just a journeyman, wasn't he?
Yeah. And so when I saw that, I was like, nah, these guys, they're not built for it. They're not built for it. Like not for not for that trench warfare. They're not built for that trench warfare.
So what you're saying, Tyson's personality is outshone his abilities?
Yeah, I think this has been a carefully crafted thing, which is the last person to do this was David Haye. How much money can I generate for the least amount of risk?
Yeah, but don't you alienate your Central fans? Because obviously Fury, they say one thing, right, and they do another. Right, this December 23rd thing, which all we've had rammed down us for the last 7 days, is how great it is and it's happening and all that. Well, we all went, yeah, whatever. Well, you've said it now. Now it ain't happening. There's a silence. So what are they going to say now? What are they going to say now? Because they're already not coming out and telling us about the tobacco, alcohol, and gambling millions they were offered. So which companies offered you millions, Spencer Brown? They're not going to tell us that because it didn't happen. So who are they going to fight now? What are they going to do? What are they going to say? Because they've already cancelled the biggest after-fight press conference in the world. It's the biggest show in the world. And no
I'll tell you this, mate. I tell you this.
What they're going to say?
They'll kick it over to Frank and Bob and go,
They'll have to water it down, won't they? They'll have to get sort the mess out, won't they, again?
This is the kind of time you need Eddie Hearn. Like Hearn would know what to do in this situation.
Eddie's already doing what he does best. He's come out this morning, first one out. All there is on IFL this morning is a 3-minute Naz interview saying Tyson Fury won. Oh, there's something Lennox Lewis, he's saying Tyson won, and Carl Frampton went, what? No, he didn't. And Dan Hardy went, what? No, he didn't. And then Lennox went, well, could have gone either way. It depends what you're looking for. You know, that old chestnut.
Lennox is trying to get that Saudi check. I don't blame him, by the way. Like, everyone's trying to get that Saudi money, but they don't realize that it's not about who you are. And like, you've heard me say this, Russ. The Saudis don't care about boxing. They don't. What Turkey wanted was a moment. And he got his moment last night, right? Because Saudi Arabia is going to be the most visible name of any country for the next 48 hours. Yeah? And you'd pay good money for that. That's a good way to kick off Riyadh season. He's the real winner in all of this, right? Because now we all care about, oh my God, yeah, that happened on Riyadh season. They've done their job.
They provided, they've delivered everything they've said, so they've done no wrong. It ain't their fault that boxing kills boxing, ruins boxing. It's his own worst enemy. Boxing wasn't going to allow a UFC guy on his debut as a boxer to beat the main man. And that's where the scorecards come on. Aram and Bricktop, they knew if it went to points, they were home and dry. But as the fight was so one-sided, they were very uncomfortable in the chairs, weren't they?
You see how quickly Frank jumped into that post-fight interview in the ring?
Seen it.
Yeah. He got that. Everyone got the hard word, didn't they? Everyone was like, listen, you guys need to stick to the script here. No one start acting up now.
Everybody didn't know what to do. No, in fact, they didn't know what to do. And you know the YouTubers? I'm not using note from them all. You know all these lickers, Terry? Where are they all now? What they're going to say now, because they didn't come out and say it on the channels, because they don't want to lose access. So now they're going to have to come out and embarrass themselves and say that Fury won. But they didn't even say that because you know he didn't. So because they're not straight down the middle, guys, like us, they'll fall by the wayside as well. Or be known as lickers.
Mate, I think this is an absolute mess for the Fury brand. And imagine they have another performance like that again. And then you're like, these guys are washed. But I'll say it time and time again. If you want to beat a Fury of any description, just set about them.
Yeah.
They
Jake
don't
Paul did Tommy. He dropped Tommy, didn't he, Jake Paul?
Yeah. They're not resilient, man. They are not physically resilient. Like, just set about them. That's what they need to do.
Fury's been down 7 times now, so all this about masterful defence and all that, do you think people are not really speaking the truth about his abilities? We know he's got ability, but he's in a poor era, but he's been on floor 7 times, Terry, now. Come on. That's not a defence. That's not fucking...
Wait.
That's not Archie Moore, the mongoose, is it? With shoulder roll, is it?
No, but it's also like, we keep saying he's got ability. Yeah, based on what? There was a man in that TNT studio last night who had ability as a heavyweight.
Who was that?
Lennox.
Lennox, yeah.
Lennox had ability as a heavyweight. Lennox Lewis went to 2 Olympic Games, got a bronze and a gold. That is ability. Yeah. Being in interviews with your pals, talking about you're the greatest heavyweight of all time, calling yourself the Gypsy King is not ability.
Yeah? You think Fury's further away from Hall of Fame now than ever?
He may get in, but he may have that Nigel Benn problem of just every time you think he's about to get in, a crop of damn good names come in. You're like, you got to sit this one out again.
I did a video, Terry, before I went away this weekend, and it was called Why Fury's Not Top 5 pound per pound. And I was coming now and I've seen the vileness. Oh, you know, don't you? It comes with territory. Fury power, fanatical. Well, he's still not pound for pound top 5. In fact, he's probably not even top 10 or 12 now after last night. So put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Yeah. It's listen, all of that stuff is catching up to him now. Yeah. All of that, all those lines, all that uncastrated ball meat, all the drinking, all the acting the fool, all of that stuff is now catching up to him. And you know what happens when you get older, Russ?
What?
Those syringes you're putting in your backside don't work the same way as they used to. They just don't. If you've been abusing your body for long enough, eventually your body says, mate, you're old.
I said to my mate Bunny a few weeks ago, right, I said, look at Tyson Fury there, right? He's fighting in 6 weeks. Does he look like he's in camp to you? Because he's saying he's been in camp 6 weeks, because it was a 12-week camp, wasn't it? Bunny says, looking at him, no, he ain't training. He might be going out, doing a little bit on bag, attending gym, chatting, but there's no effort going in. And these are like guys that train every day, like professional. Bunny's like a professional, isn't he? You know, he's a regimented, serious athlete. He said, and he's obviously a strength and condition guy as well. He says he's not training, but I tell you he is. He's not training. Look at the shape he's in. Now, we've all seen Tyson when he has been training. When he was in camp, I'm not saying this because I'm Peter's friend, but when he was training at Peter Fury's, he always looked like they were put through mince. He had a bit of shape to him. He's never body beautiful, Tyson, is he? But it looks to me like all these people around him, all these nutrition men, strength and condition men, advisors for this, advisors for that. Get rid of the lot. They're all rhubarb. Pony.
Rhubarb. I've been cussed.
Look at the state of the performance. Look at the state of his body.
Well, so let's come back to a topic that never gets touched on.
What?
Sugar Hill.
Sugar Hill, yeah, this great go-to guy. Where was his game plan here, this master technician? Where was it?
You got to look at it.
Why didn't you knock him out? Sitting down on your punches with Sugar Hill, the Cronk man and all that. He's not Manny Stewart. He's Manny Stewart's nephew who's a copper. That's a bit right. He's old Bill. Like Boxing King Media guy, isn't it? Well, it's true.
Wait, no. Wait. Stop. Say that again.
Boxing King Media guy's old Bill, isn't he? You know that, don't you?
No.
Well, what do you think I've been banging on about? Why do you think you keep getting all this abuse? Isn't that right, Gully? Taking a year out. South Yorkshire serving policeman. All right? Just so you know. Yeah, this is what we've got in boxing now, isn't it?
Infiltrated.
Well, I got a press pass to go to Izzy and Asher's show in Sheffield next door to the office, isn't it, mate? Next door to
that GBM.
Yes, I've got your press pass, Ash. No, very well. I haven't been very well. I've had like come out in all rash of calamine lotion on me and that, so I didn't go. But he went, didn't you? Well, I could have took that, mate, but I'll let you have a few crumbs. Yeah, they got me. It wanted me to do it. I didn't go. He did it, and he did all right from what I've heard. But it's still old Bill. So
I can't watch him anymore.
Well, have I said anything wrong? It's like I told it was Peter Fury that told me actually. He said, well, he's into yellow or something. He hasn't been very well. They're taking a year out to see what they're going to do. But at the end of the day, it's old Bill. So that's what,
you know what it is.
Boxing. That's boxing for you, isn't it?
And once a copper, always a copper.
Well, what can you do? It's just it's a fact of life, isn't it now, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? But getting back to Fury last night, I'm worried that we might not see him for another 10 months now, and that the undisputed's further and further away, Terry. What do you think?
Man, I just don't care anymore. Like these,
Undisputed.
yeah, they're old, they're washed. I've been saying this for a while. Like this undisputed thing ruined heavyweight boxing. It was this carrot that they dangled in front of the fans, and the fans were stupid enough to believe this would happen. And every time the fans bit, they just pulled that carrot a little bit further away. I do not care. I genuinely don't care. I don't think Usyk's that good. I don't think Usyk's an all-time great. I don't think he's an all-time great. Full stop. I don't think he's the greatest cruiserweight ever. All this sort of stuff is nonsense, right? And I know there's going to be some knobhead in your comments who goes, "Oh, he doesn't know anything about boxing." Listen, go through the history, dig up Prime Holyfield as a cruiserweight, Prime Dwight Braxton as a cruiserweight, Dwight Muhammad Kawi, even someone like Hay or Mormek would give Usyk all kinds of trouble. You want to talk to me about a guy who's famous for beating guys like Masternak and Bradis? Like, that's when boxing fans are clowns, man. Bradis was a copper as well, so I'm glad he got beat. I can't stand it, right? I don't care. Fury hasn't given us what we wanted of him. He should have just cleaned up and gone, right, let me just clean up this mess now and let me sit on top of the mountain. He didn't do that. Yeah? Right now, the only heavyweight I care about, Russ, is Zhilei Zhang.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the only one I care about because I get the feeling he'd fight any and everyone.
He's going to get short end at stick in every fight, Zhang, though, isn't he? He's got to knock him out, and to get win him.
Yeah, put Zhang in with Ngannou.
Zhang's not going to get any favours on cards like he didn't against Ergovic, is he?
Yeah, but he's the only one I care about. And then this new generation of kids as well. Fabio Wardley. I think he's probably the guy that I've got the most amount of respect for out of last night because he showed something. And Russ, you know I've been talking highly of this kid for about 5 years now. He just showed that if you're going to come into boxing as a novice, you do it the Fabio Wardley way. You do hundreds of rounds against the best in the business, round after round after round. First 6 months, you're going to get beaten up. But by then, mate, you're toughened. You know, because that was like our little derby, wasn't it? Because Adeleye, you were the first guy to put me on to David Adeleye. I think I was the guy that put you on to Fabio
I
Wardley.
got Dennis to sit down with him, Adeleye, and he said he was willing to talk to Dennis before anybody. And Dennis couldn't pull it off. He said, "Hey, it's London, isn't it?" I thought, Dennis, so what? Throw some money at it. But anyway, he didn't work out, did it? But he's a good fighter. I had him to win last night, but I don't know what happened.
No, Wardley's.
Seasoned Wardley in it now.
And it's also what Wardley's got that doesn't. It's not obvious. I've had him on the pads once, and he's got these heavy shots, Russ. It's not like scary power, but it's heavy. He's heavy-handed, and every time you got to resist one of those shots, it just drops your power bar a little bit. And that's all he did. He just ground Adeleye down, and then when that left hook, boom, ooh, there was nothing left in the tank.
What do you think for David Adeleye now?
Well, now we understand why he wouldn't fight John Pilata, which is what
That's your mate, isn't it?
Yeah. So they tried to make that fight 3 times between 2020 and 2021, and every time those guys found an excuse not to do it. I've seen sparring footage of David Adeleye against other British prospects. I knew that result was coming.
Yeah.
He's got to go back and he's got to rebuild from scratch. And they've got to tell him the truth. He's not a power puncher. He's not a monster. He's going to go far in boxing if he understands that he has to be a high work rate combination puncher. If he doesn't understand that, he's going to keep losing.
Yeah. Well, I wish David Adeleye all the best. I quite like him. I think he's a powerful puncher, but I don't think he was seasoned enough to beat Wardley. Why all our odds were good.
He's
a bit more.
He's a great talker though, Russ. That's why I want Adeleye to succeed.
Yeah.
Because you can watch his press conferences and just be like, yeah, I quite like this.
You could imagine him getting stuck into Joshua over 2 or 3 rounds, couldn't you?
No,
No, couldn't you?
no. Not once. Remember, not once did he set about Wardley. Not once did he take a step forward and attack Wardley in that whole fight.
Do you think Adeleye will ever win a British?
No.
No.
Well, no. Let me take it back. The Adeleye I saw yesterday won't win a British. Now, if he rebuilds, because he's still got enough developmental capacity in him that he can rebuild, then he could. But he's got to understand that he's not going to do it being a back foot counter puncher. That's not who he is.
You want to go on to part 2, Tel?
No worries, mate.